Let's do it. Episode 51 coming at you.
Wake up! You can't remember where it was. Has this dream stopped?
Broadcasting from the capital of sports, it's the Matty B Show. Right here on Epis Sports Radio.
Nasty. Go New York, go New York, go. The Knicks are back, apparently.
Matty B.
And Epis swung on and into the air. To deep right center. That ball is high. That is ball. It is gone. Very deep is right. Hits one deep to left field. Higley back near the wall. It's in the air. The Mets win the ball game. A 60-point game for Cody Ryan. It's up by 3. It's over. Eric Decker holds it in. The Jets win in overtime.
Epis Sports Radio. All right. Yo! What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matty B, Epis Sports Radio, episode 51. I have a very special guest and a great friend of mine, and a returner of the show, his second time here appearing on the Epis Sports Radio podcast, my man, Pots and Pans, Kevin Mccloskey. What's going on, Kev? How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. How's it going?
It's going good, bro. It's going good as always. You know, we've been in touch constantly. It's been a wild year for the both of us in terms of our running journeys, and I'm so glad to have you back here on the show. I appreciate you. I thank you. Everybody is tuning in right now, whether you're watching live or in post. Please like, comment, follow, subscribe. Check out my boy right here, Kev, on Instagram and Facebook. All right, KMac Runs 82. All right, shoot him a follow as well. Giving you great daily content, daily motivation, whatever it is you need to get that positivity in your algorithm, he will bring it to you. All right, I bring him on today because I want to just go over the whole discourse of everything that he's done this year. On top of that, I would like to promote the new website and community that he is trying to build. A lot to discuss in regards to that. And then later on, we will be bringing my co-host, W. DeWalt, on the show. We'll be talking a little sports. A lot going on in the sports world as usual. Thursday night, as we're recording live now, you got a little LA Rams. You got a little Seattle Seahawks, 11-3 teams going at it. You got the Knicks. You got basketball fresh off the NBA Cup. And now we get into the real season, as everybody likes to talk about it. So, and of course, a little MLB free agency. So stay tuned later in the show for that as well. And right now, we got my man, Kev. Kev, how we feeling, bro? I know you're fresh off another ultra marathon. Was it 50K this one was?
Yeah,
it's a 50K.
Been a busy month.
Busy month, busy year for you. Just give
Month.
give us a rundown on from January to December, man. Like, what did you do? All the races.
So I would say January to probably. So I started the year injured. I finished last year last December I ran a 100-miler, and something went on with my foot. I was dealing with on and off. I started the year basically mixing in some cross training, biking, running.
Right.
It lingered for a while. I battled injuries, honestly, a little bit on and off this year. I had gout somehow, which was painful. That lingered for a little while. But then I would say maybe March-ish, April, I signed up for a 100-miler, which was the Canal Corridor 100-miler in Ohio.
I remember that one, yeah.
I try to keep steady mileage. I like to really roughly average between 70 and 100 miles a week.
Yeah.
whether I have a race or not. Usually, if I don't have like a long race, I'm probably in the 70s and 80s. And then, for instance, for the 100 miler, it's a little more regimented training. I typically 70 to 100 miles. I will double down my long runs. So, for instance, I'll run like anywhere from mostly 10 to 12 miles during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And on the weekends, I'll do anywhere from 18 to 26 on Saturday and then 18 to 26 on Sunday.
What
So
were
that's kind of get my mileage. A lot of times I would roughly be, I'd say I average during training for the 100 miler, probably in like the high 80s. I had probably 3 or 4 weeks in the 90s, a couple weeks in the hundreds. But relatively, I stay kind of in the 70s and 80s most of the time.
I would say so, based on your history. Give me a
Yeah,
rundown. Just give me a rundown real
know,
quick of like all the actual races that you did, that you participate, because it's
okay,
quite a lot. It's a list.
it's funny.
Yeah.
I only signed up really with some time ahead for the one race. I signed up in March or April for the 100 miler that was in October.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was cross training and still, still getting relatively good miles, 70s, mainly living in the 70s, low 80s. And then, yeah, I started training for that probably like June, end of May. And then just probably 3, 4 months of just a lot of training, a lot of miles.
So you
At the
had
time,
the
what's that?
100 miler back in March, right?
No, the 100 miler was in October of this year. So the last race before that,
Yeah.
before this one, was a 100 miler in last December. I actually didn't
Oh, it was
have,
last December. Okay.
right, I didn't have any races from December to October, actually.
Oh, okay. So all through. So after
All my
October,
races,
right?
all my races this year have been in the last 2 months.
Right. So okay. So give me run down that list of each single race that you did,
All
because
right,
so
so
now that would
the first
be
race, so the first race of this year was October 11th, was the Canal Corridor 100 miler.
Right. Okay.
I ran that race. That was a doozy. I battled stomach issues. Now, some of you know from the last episode, I have Crohn's disease, so I do have some stomach issues. I've had 4 back surgeries, so I have some physical ailments. The back, for the most part, is decent. I can't say it's pain free. I mean, I deal with spasms here and there, and obviously a lot of pounding on the pavement and stuff like that can
Yeah.
affect
Yeah.
it. But I do take care of the rest of the part of my body. I eat pretty healthy. I do eat healthy. I eat healthy. I do have some cheat meals, but I
I'd
do
say
eat
so.
healthy.
I seen your breakfast meal this morning. I was kind of jealous. Jalapenos on the sunny side egg. I gotta try
Dude,
that.
jalapenos on everything.
Yeah,
I love
I like a jalapeno. And I love eggs. Don't get me wrong. And then look at you with the sourdough bread, by the way. All right, nice and healthy. Okay.
really the only bread I eat. It's really
I mean, bro,
mostly
that's good, because it's literally the healthiest bread to have. So
yeah. So
it's good.
when
You
I
do
do
that.
bread, yeah, when I do bread, I do sourdough. Sometimes I'll go to the butcher and I'll get like a nice Italian loaf. They got a great bakery attached to the.
I was about
To
to
the
ask you, where do you get your sourdough bread? Because I'm sure by you, there's probably some nice little, old school
honestly,
bakery.
ShopRite.
Oh,
I
really? You
get
go to
it.
ShopRite for it?
I get a lot of it at ShopRite, or believe it or not, like if I visit my parents, my dad always has a loaf of sourdough bread for me. So
Okay.
like some of that. Yeah, the bakery. I mean, the bakery that's part of the butcher shop that I go to once in a while to get steaks and stuff. They have phenomenal bread, so I
Hmm.
get bread there. Um, but yeah, no, I do like to cook. I cook. Actually, I cook mostly all my stuff. I don't really order out too much. I do
Yeah.
occasionally, but I like to cook. So tonight for dinner, I had just like a melting pot. I had sweet potatoes chopped up with black beans, chopped jalapenos, portobello mushrooms.
All right.
What else was in there?
Not
Whole
bad.
grain rice, and I even scrambled a couple eggs and threw them in there. And then
All
I made a
right.
whole. I
That's
made a homemade.
that's nice actually. Yeah.
Made a homemade protein sauce where I mix cottage cheese, uh, chipotle peppers, adobo sauce, salsa, a tiny bit of chipotle mayo, and garlic, and I blend it together, and it's like a high protein dipping sauce that I kind of like.
All
That I
right.
mix.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, bro. That sounds really good actually.
Yeah, I like to cook, man. I'm more of
I
like
can't wait to come over.
yeah. So I'm more of like
Yeah.
I just like throw stuff together, that type of deal.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. So
but let me get back to
yeah, I was
let me
about
get
to
back
say
to
back to the races. We
back
could
to the
always
race.
talk food. So
Yeah, I love talking food, man. I can talk
you had
food
your
forever.
first. You've had your first 100 miler of the year.
So,
Obviously, it was back in. You
yeah,
got
this
one
was my
back in
third.
December.
I've done this was this past race last weekend was my 10th ultra. So I've done 450 milers, 350 Ks, and 300 milers.
Now, how many coming in this year?
So in the last 2 months, I had 3 ultras. I had a
Okay.
100 miler, a 50
Jesus.
miler, and a 50K.
Right, and the 50 miler was with me.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get a chance to talk about. I think
Yeah,
we'll
finally we got to meet.
yeah,
We
yeah.
shared like a mile, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a very quick
Yeah,
mile.
we shared a mile. It's crazy in the beginning of those races, man. Especially in like a single rail trail.
Yeah.
It's
It was
it's
kind of
like
nuts. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of congestion in the beginning, and like I saw an opening
And you
and just
took
went
off, yeah.
and just took off.
And
Yeah,
you
and just
certainly
took
have
off.
more experience when it comes to these types of races. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
though, the overall, like I honestly, that will go down as one of my favorite races ever.
Dude,
I,
you PR'd it.
Not only that, but
Crushed it.
just to have like having met you and experienced that and do it, like,
Yeah, it was a great day. And
it
then
was
we got
great.
to dinner after
Yeah.
with my parents, my
Yeah.
race crew.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We went out to
Yeah.
eat afterwards. For those that don't know, what was the spot called? It's a famous spot in
The
Staten Island.
Nino's in Staten Island.
Yeah. Great
Pizza
spot, great pizza, all that, and just the overall experience, man. It was so cool, like starting in the dark, that trail, like you said, very single line, it was like, you were just kind of in lockstep with everybody, you know what I'm saying? And you're trying to wait for your moment to make a move, to advance and things like that. And,
It usually takes a little bit, and then eventually everybody starts to spread out. Everybody runs their
Right,
pace,
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fun race. So the first race, that was the last race. That was 2 races ago. I'm sorry.
It was 2 races,
The
yeah.
first race was, excuse me, was the 100 miler.
Yeah.
So I ran that October 11th. That took me 26 hours. I think a little over 26 hours. And then I think that Tuesday, which is 2 days later, I had a good friend of mine, a local friend that I run miles with every once in a while. He was running the half marathon, was aiming for a ridiculously fast racing in college. He's a little younger than me. He's a great dude. Steve. I get to share miles with him every once in a while. It's it's not. I do a lot of my running alone. I do a lot of my training alone. I spend a lot of time alone. But so I was going online because I said, oh, you know what? I had just prior to the 100 miler, I was like, I'll probably be beat up. So, I'd love to show up for him and see him in his first half marathon. And then I was looking at like the times and the dates, and I was like, I kind of want to run. I've never run a road marathon, so I kind of want to run the road marathon.
Yeah.
And then a good friend of mine I was texting back and forth with, he said, if you run the road marathon a week after your 100 miler, he goes, I'll take you anywhere you want to eat. And 5 minutes later, I sent him a screenshot of the registration.
Yeah, so he bribed you. He's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and then I was nowhere near recovered. It takes a while. It takes a long time I don't know if you ever really fully recover if you're constantly going and going and going. So that was tough, man. And I remember when I signed up, I was like, yeah, I'll probably push a little and just, you know, try to enjoy the experience. And then the gun went off and I took off.
Right.
And I think by mile like 15, I was feeling it a little bit. I started to slow down a little bit. I was then in like the high eights. I was sub 8 for a while. And then mile 18, I didn't hit the wall. The wall, like oh, it was like an exorcism, dude. My quads, my knees, everything just
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
it was, yeah. And you could see if you look at my splits, my pace just like went down, and I was just honestly like fighting for my life at that point. Like
Yeah.
it was rough. So those last 8 miles were a grind, but it's another way to, you know, it was awesome. You know,
Yeah.
like of course it sucks while you're in it sometimes, but that's part of it. You know,
Right.
that's also part of it. Like overcoming whether it's mental or physical pain or the things in your head that tell you, okay, slow down, stop, or whatever, and you know you keep going. That's all part of it. You know, it gives you
No
that
doubt.
sense of it. It builds confidence. It builds belief for what you do that's coming. So like, you know, the 100 miler was an awesome experience. I battled stomach issues. You know, I wanted to beat 27 hours was my main goal because my PR for a 100 miler is 27 hours. So I wanted to beat 27 hours.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what? Let's try for 24. And I struggled, man. Like, I remember taking a bite of a quesadilla, threw it right up. I had trouble really getting calories for over 40 miles. Like, I mean, I would try to chug soda. I was able to get a little mac and cheese down here and there.
Where during the 100 miler did you start to struggle? Like where you mentioned throwing up the quesadilla, like when
I'll be
was that?
honest, dude, I'll be honest, my hip flexor, which bothered me in training and on my long runs, a lot of times, like I could still go, but like it was painful. Uh, my hip flexor and my knee started bothering me probably in like the 30s.
Damn, and that's early on, man, when you're
Yeah,
here,
it
you got
wasn't like,
70 more
don't get me
miles to
wrong,
go.
it
Yeah.
was it was doable. It wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
but it bothered me, and that kind of messes with you a little bit, you know, like, oh shit, you know, I still got like 60 something miles left,
Hell yeah.
and I'm already like feeling it, you know,
Right.
and you
Right.
always feel it regardless. I mean, I know some people are like, oh, you know, you probably don't feel it till late. You start to feel the muscles and different things like towards marathon like time.
Yeah.
But as you keep going, they kind of come in waves. It goes away a little bit, it comes back,
Yeah.
and then towards later end of the race is when it comes and kind of stays. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And a
the
lot
hip
of
flex.
that's psychological, I feel like, to be honest with you,
Oh
man. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. It definitely messes with you, and you know it also, if you're running alone, if you have a pacer, if you're running with people that are in the race, like
Yeah.
I remember I was running with a kid for a while during the race from Columbus, and you know, I remember the beginning of the night. It wasn't late, but it was, you know, it was pitch black, and he had a pacer come, and we were running. I think we were in like the 50s or something, and I started, and it was cold, like, and I started like sweating, and I was so nauseous, and I started like dry heaving, and I had to stop to like, I thought I like to
Yeah.
throw
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I didn't throw up. I was just like dry heaving.
Mm.
So I would do that, run a little bit, get a little nauseous, and then walk a little bit to see if I could like,
It's amazing.
I would try to drink some water. I would, you know, I would do what I could. I'd get to an aid station, and, you know, they'd be like, oh, what do you want to eat? And
Nothing.
lately, the last however many races, man, I've had trouble getting like aid station food down.
You've told
Like
me. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's like I don't know what it is. I mean, and in prior races, I've been able to, continue to eat and stuff. Who knows what it was, but uh, like like when you were younger, or well, I don't drink anymore, but when I was younger, and like when you would drink something and you'd have like a bad night, you'd get sick, and you'd be like, oh, that alcohol just makes me sick now. Well, it
Right.
was
Yeah,
kind of,
it's my feeling with Jack Daniels. I could never really
yeah.
drink Jack
So
Daniels again because of that. Yeah, yeah,
similar, yeah, it's similar to that. Whereas
yeah.
like aid stations kind of have a smell.
Okay.
Like you smell pierogies, you
Yeah,
smell
yeah, yeah.
soup, you smell like
Right.
different things. You smell quesadillas, you smell like, but quesadillas with just like like a thin flour tortilla and just some
And
cheese
like
in there.
cheese, yeah, which is not
Yeah,
like
so
great at that
it's
point. Yeah.
basic foods.
It's
Thank
basically
God for
glorified. It's like basically glorified lunch food that you get like at freaking middle school,
right.
or some shit like. And it's not the most appetizing thing, like it just really isn't. Some of the things are nice, like the one that I did with you. Like a lot of fruits, bananas, oranges, things like that. Like that's good. I like a
Well,
potato every now
yeah,
and,
bananas
you
are
know.
big. Peanut butter and jellies are big.
Right,
Quesadillas are big.
right. I'm okay with that.
I
The quesadillas were not great. I will agree with you. At least for the race that we ran. I liked they were pierogies, right? They had pierogies.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked those. They actually weren't too bad, and I was able to stomach it. So but for example, like when I had my wife and made me ramen, at one of the stops. I think it was like the second stop, and I had a hard time getting that down. Like it was just like
Yeah.
that at that time, and that taste, as good as it was and nice, it was hot and all that fresh. It was just like, nope, I don't really want this right now. Like it was kind of like making me nauseous a little bit. So
And it's
it's
definitely
weird.
got something to do with obviously your running, your
Yeah.
you're sweating, your heart rate's up, you're pushing. I mean, you're climbing hills.
Right. Right.
That race that we did, that was 50 miles and had 5,000 feet of climbing, so it
Yeah.
wasn't flat at
It's
all.
no joke in that sense. Yeah. 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 We
So
thought it was
I
going to
was
be
going up,
completely
going down,
flat.
heart rate's going up.
So much for doing your homework for racing. For anybody out there, please do your research. Sometimes we like to wing it a little bit and just go with the flow. Not that it really mattered. I wouldn't. I mean, I guess honestly, even knowing maybe I would have went like hiking and trail running a little bit more. But based on my whole routine and everything, there's not much I could really do to supplement that anyway. But you and me did not expect that much elevation gain in that race, and
Well,
you know,
it's
I think still we performed well because of it.
I I was regardless. Like I didn't think Staten Island had that many hills. Apparently,
Right,
it's a
neither
lot
did
of.
I.
Like,
Yeah,
I had I do so some of my long runs I'll get some gain and stuff like that. So like my legs I think were kind of all right with the hills for the most part. I
yeah,
mean, don't get me wrong, I felt it. I definitely felt them all. Um, but I went to the race thinking it was going to be like, and that's not why I didn't sign up, because I thought it was going to be flat or whatever. I signed up a week and a half before that race, so
right,
that was
yeah,
another one. That's what I mean. Like I signed up these four races. The only race that I really had planned for was the 100 miler. The second race was the marathon. I signed up 3 or 4 days before the race, and then after the marathon was the 50-mile trail race that we did. And I text you, I think, a week and a half before saying I'm in. So like I had already I didn't train particularly for the race. I had been training and done, like I had the 100 miler under my belt, then I had the marathon, and then the week after that, like 2 weeks before that, I had run 76 or 80 something miles. So like I was still in race mode. I was not recovered completely. Like I still have been battling this hip flexor thing and my knee, and my ankles were sore, and I wasn't necessarily recovered well, but like as far as like cardiovascular, I knew my body could, and my body, as yeah, it would be uncomfortable and painful, but I knew my body could handle whatever that race had, like as far as climbing and mileage, 50 miles, you know what I mean?
hmm
So I was not concerned that, going into it, like I knew I would finish. It was just a matter of I was trying to PR it. I was
Right,
trying to
right,
see
right,
how
right,
fast
right.
and yeah, the hills, man, it was a lot of rolling hills and some climbs and yeah, I mean, when you don't like I just didn't know Staten Island, New York had hills like that. That's
Yeah,
and it's I'm not saying we
blew
had
me
like
away.
I'm not saying we had like, like complete, but there were some climbs and it all adds up, it added up to what, like 50 or a little or over 5,000 mile 5,000 feet of gain
Yeah, wild.
and
Yeah,
50 miles. Yeah, I mean that's regardless if it's flat, it's still 50 miles. You know what I mean?
no doubt,
So
no doubt. Yeah.
either way, and then and then what was it? And then that was when was that race? What was the date of that race?
Oh, geez.
You remember?
Off the top of my
November
noggin, no. I
November
don't know
15th?
why. Let's see. I'll take a look at my
Was it November
calendar.
15th
Was
or
it?
November 18th around
No.
there?
I think you were in the ballpark, right? It had
All
to be
right. Well, anyway,
November. I'm checking.
it was
I'm
like
checking.
after mid-November, I think,
Yes, you're right.
around
It
that.
was November 15th. November 15th.
It
Yeah.
was November 15th. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and after I finished that race,
Your next one was
I
the 50K,
following week,
right?
that following week after the 50 miles, I think I only ran like 40 miles or 45 miles, and then the following week I ran. I was back and I ran I think like 86 miles or 80 something miles or whatever, and then
Christ.
the week after that was like 82. So I really didn't. So that's another thing. I know, like I get from people like, oh, you should kind of probably let your body recover, and I totally understand that. I
A
know the
little
body
bit. I
needs,
tell them all the time, the people.
and I know the body needs. I know the body needs rest and it needs recovery, but like it's not that I don't want to rest. It's not that I know like my brain needs the exercise and the push. So
Well, let's talk
I'm a
about that a
better,
little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit.
yeah, so I'm a better version of myself when I'm active. We'll do that real quick right there. So okay, so then I had 2 miles of high mileage, and then I was like, I remember seeing a race on Ultra Sign Up. I was like, oh, I just randomly one night I was on looking and I'm like, oh, there's a race December 13th. It was like 2.5, 3 weeks away. And I was thinking about it. And then I think like a little less than 2 weeks, or no, it was like a little, like a couple days ahead of 2 weeks. So like 16 days before the race, I was like, oh, screw it. Let's just sign up for it. So I signed up for it and I got waitlisted.
Mm.
And then I emailed the guy and I was like, they had mentioned something about possibly extending the occupancy of the race. And he said, we're at full occupancy, but you're number 2 on the list. So then I get an email like 6 days later, which is like a week and a half before the race. And he's like, if you want the spot, you're in. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
Right.
So I signed up. That week, let's see, I had run, I think 30 miles or whatever, 32, so we're around those 30-mile-ish by that Wednesday when I found out. And I was like, okay. So then the next couple of days I went like 8, 6, and then I did 10 on that Saturday, and then I did like a really quick taper of like a 6 and a 3. And then I took like 2 or 3 days before to try to get a little bit of recovery. Like I said, the hip flexor and the knee have been nagging injuries since the summer, honestly. And each taper brings me back a little bit, and then each race kind of just aggravates it a little bit, and then I go back, and then I go forward, and then I go back, and then so this past race was an awesome race, man. And we were just talking about 5,000 feet and 50 miles. This was 4,100 feet in 32 miles. So this is another one
very significant.
Yeah. So this was another one where there was a lot of hills, and I know out west, some people maybe, well, we get 28. I get that. I understand that. But this race was
Yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah, but they can talk all they want because I know, even though I haven't been out west, yeah, I've done a lot of research on a lot of these trails. All right, and they're not dealing with trails like we're dealing with. I'm sorry, they can go kick rocks. The elevation gain is one thing, and you have to get acclimated to it, and that's a fact. If you just go over there and expect to, go hiking or
Well,
running,
yeah, because
trail
you're
running,
higher in
right?
elevation to start with, too.
You're
So
just
the
not going to be
airspeed or stuff
acclimated.
like that.
But
But
they're
yeah, I mean,
they're not running on the type of trails that we're running on, man. They with these rooted freaking trees, tree roots sticking out of the ground, boulders everywhere. I mean, some of the sections that we were dealing with in the New York City trail mix was pretty difficult. And a lot of the
yeah,
places I go trail running in New Jersey, New York, you know, man, it ain't like out west, man. It's nice and flat and all, gravelly, and it's good traction for them. Yeah,
so
but that
this
elevation gain
course,
is different. Yeah.
yeah, no, this course was good though. It was so it was hit. It was obviously it was like rolling hills. There were some steep climbs.
Okay.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of everything, but like there were it had like tow paths like you're talking about, like more
Right. Right.
gravel, runnable, uphill too, but like it had a lot of that. And then it dipped you into the woods, and then you had the rocks, and you had the roots, and you had this, and then there was there was a little section where you could literally run. So it literally had a little bit of everything. It had some climbing, it had some groom trails, it had some towpath, and it had some more technical areas of it. And that was another race that I'm proud of. Now that I've got a couple of those races under my belt, each race I'm trying to push and trying to get better time wise, and maybe even finish better. I mean, my competition I know is always myself, but it's still nice to see where you finish, to see kind of where you stack up and stuff like that, just as something to know. And this past race, I PR'd the 50K, and
Nice.
I ended up actually with my best finish. I finished 15th out of, like, the guy said between like 50 to 60 people.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome, man.
it was, yeah, it was good. And again, dude, that hip flexor, like at times, especially towards the end of the race, like I remember stubbing my foot on a root, and just this shooting pain just went in my inner leg right to my hip flex, like my
Mm.
whole leg, like it like seized up a little bit, and eventually, it kind of worked its way out a little bit. But that was an awesome. Actually, all these races were great.
Yeah.
Honestly, the road marathon was great. It was a great experience. I never had run a road marathon before. Now I do run 26 miles once in a while when I'm training.
Right, which is
Not-
technically running a road marathon because you mainly run a road around your way, right?
Yeah, but I have red lights, and I have
Yeah, it's
and
still
if I'm
running a
training,
marathon, bro. That's
right,
even
and
arguably that's even harder, bro. To do that, my co-host has done that before. He's never run an actually organized race, but one day he just decided to up and leave his house and run 26.2. And it was in phenomenal time, by the way, the time that smokes either me or you. And it's just absurd, like, and to do that with no aid stations, to do that with no help, nothing, even if you are like taking the little breaks or whatever, like that's in itself, man. That's mentally strong. I give kudos to people that are able to do that. And you do it a lot with these long runs, man. You go out there, you run 15, 20 miles like it's freaking nobody's business. You make it look easy. You inspire me, you
it's
inspire
not.
others.
It's not.
It's I know, I know, I know. But you make it look easy. You make somebody want to go out there and try,
I train
man.
for these. I train for these 100 milers. Like towards the end of my training, I'll run a marathon. Like this past one, I ran a marathon on a Tuesday, and then another marathon the next day.
Yeah.
But a lot of my runs are usually anywhere for my long runs on the weekends, or if my schedule is different and I
Mm,
have 2 days a week, it's always usually 20 to 26 miles each day.
yeah.
So
Jeez.
there'll be an 18 in there, here or there. Like I'll usually do like 3 or 4 weeks of high mileage,
Mm.
and then I'll come back to like I'll do 1 week. I'll do a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks through like say a 12, 16 week training block that are like in the 50s or 60s, just to kind of dial it back, give a little bit of active, almost active recovery, but still going.
Yeah.
Just dial it back and then go back up. So like, it's not every week is 80, 90, 100 miles. You know, mostly 70, 80, 90, 100 miles. But when I'm doing like 90, 100, sometimes that fourth week it's going to be 65, just to kind of dial it back a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to give myself a break without giving myself a full break. You know what I mean? So
You got my co-host over here in the comments losing his mind. He's like, "What? Back to back 26.2?" Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
I'm like a mileage. I really do a lot of my stuff on mileage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a high mileage guy. And I've been doing so since in between those weeks, yeah, like even in between those races, I would say I was 76, 86, 82, 80 something. And I'm spending an hour, you know, and then I'm doing an hour of strength in the gym. Now for the training for the 100 miler, my schedule was a lot busier. I was really mainly doing running. I would do some mobility, and I would do a little bit of like Bulgarian split squats here and there, but
Mhm.
I wasn't doing, and that maybe that was a little bit of it too. I wasn't doing a lot of strength.
Mhm.
The last, I'd say, 3 months, a little before the 100 miler, I'd say 3, 4 months, I've been spending a lot of time in the gym as well. So I've been trying to build up everything else, my legs, my upper body, everything else a little stronger to hopefully be a little more durable in these races. And I honestly think the the few months that I've spent so much time in the gym doing strength training and lots of squats and all different types of strength exercises helped me a lot with dealing with those hills. Like I think I performed better. My times got better in these races, like
Mhm.
as opposed to what I did say last year or the year before. So there's been some improvement, and I think the strength is really the deciding factor. I think, you know, running a lot of miles obviously helps. It's you can run your training on a lot of miles. Like I've trained for races where I really 90% of my training was running.
Mm.
Whereas now I'm still doing a lot of high miles, but I'm adding an hour and a half in the gym, and
Right. Right.
it makes a huge difference. Like if I could, if like when I tell people, you know, when they're training for races, or you know, like I've had people ask me about races and help with training and nutrition and stuff like this. And I always ask them, you know, are you doing strength? Are you doing mobility? Are you doing, because those things are a huge
Yeah.
difference maker. I mean, you build up those quads, you build up those hamstrings, you build up those glutes, you build up those calves. Plus, when you're doing some of those other exercises, you're also strengthening your ankles, you're strengthening your knees. And when you strengthen your upper body, you don't slouch when your body gets a
Mm.
little beat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like the stronger the rest of your part of your body is, the better you're going to do. And
Absolutely.
you know, I know people that I've met in races that don't run crazy high mileage training for some of these races.
Mm.
They'll run, now don't get me wrong, they're not running low miles. They're still running probably 50s and 60 miles, but they're doing a lot of strength. So
Right.
you can kind of, I feel like you can make up for, you can either do like a guy like Andy Glaze who just pumps out miles. Like he does,
Yeah.
that's his thing. He runs miles. He's an absolute animal. He's he's one of my favorite guys on the internet.
He
Just a
doesn't seem
happy,
like he does like
awesome
a lot
dude.
of strength though. You know, it's just more
He doesn't
more so
know.
natural strength. Yeah.
He just runs.
Right.
He
Yeah,
just
yeah,
runs.
yeah. I mean,
He
he's
runs.
a fire department chief, right? So he's definitely like lifting, is definitely staying active, runs a shit ton, obviously. 100+
I
mile
don't think
week
he does
streak.
a lot of strength, dude. He does ice baths every day. He
Yeah, yeah.
stays in the sauna every day.
Yeah.
and he runs a ton of mileage. I know he just had his fitness test. He was talking about, he made a reel and a joke about it, that he had the highest endurance score
Mm.
and he was best as far as cardiovascular and that, but flexibility, he was in the lower end of the whole
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever.
I'm not
So
surprised.
he's a mileage guy. He just
Mm-hmm.
runs and pumps out miles and pumps. He just 2 weeks ago, the guy ran 300 miles in a week,
Yeah, I know. I know. I was
and
followed along with that story too.
he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know if any of the listeners or anybody, that's a guy you want to follow, man. Talk
Yeah.
about just a positive influence.
Yeah.
Works his ass off. Just always puts out a good message. Is always smiling. He answers DM like he's just one of the nicest guys. He's on a ton of podcasts now. He's finally getting what he deserves. Like he's getting sponsorships and all that stuff now. I mean, the guy runs. I can't. He's run 100 miles
Yeah.
a
What? How
week
long is the streak?
every week. He's run 100 miles a week every week for almost 6 years straight.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
That's insane.
And he has kids
you,
and a wife and a family. He's a fire
yep, and
chief,
you
the whole
can't
nine.
say
Like,
that.
yeah, yeah,
And people, a lot of people like to put things on other people and say, "Oh, well, he probably recovers faster than me," or well, yeah, the
yeah.
body does catch up a little faster when you continue, but you can't tell me that dude doesn't have ailments and doesn't have stuff that hurts and lingers. That dude is just a savage.
Right,
Like,
right.
I know I've had people say to me like, "Oh, you probably had running in your family, or like
Yeah.
you have good genetics, or
Yeah.
you just recover so much faster than everybody else." I'm in pain a lot. Like I'm
Mm.
not saying that all my runs are excruciating pain. I'm not saying that by any means. I go through a
Right,
lot of
right,
runs
right.
with some pain, but running is painful. Running is not comfortable. So like regardless of whether you're recovered or not recovered, you're going to feel it. So running 100 miles a week, regardless of what shape you're in, you feel it. It hurts. Like stuff you feel pains, you feel this. Like running is not comfortable, and that's why it has such a great effect on everybody as well, is because it teaches you not to quit.
Hmm.
It teaches you to keep putting one foot in front of the other when things hurt, when you feel like you can't do anything and that voice is telling you to stop, and you continue. It it opens up things in the brain. It does so much for you. It's such a huge part of my recovery. Now I'm coming up on. I've got like a little over 4.5 years clean of alcohol. I've got 5 years clean of pharmaceuticals and other hard drugs. So, and I can honestly say I started running a little less than 5 years ago, and I can honestly say that running is by far such a huge part of my recovery.
Hmm.
And I feel like movement, running, walking, like if you sit on the couch all day and you start walking, that's cardiovascular. That's going to help you. Like movement is medicine.
Hmm.
Movement is medicine. And that's why I started the Mind Over Miles group, which is on Skool, which is SKOOL. It's a platform with you can build communities, and I just recently started a community for people with addiction issues and chronic health issues. Like I said, I have Crohn's disease. I've had 4 back surgeries. I struggled with drug addiction. I struggled horribly with depression, suicide. Like I didn't want to live. I used to go to bed hoping I didn't wake up. I remember taking handfuls of pills, not necessarily to try to kill myself, but an occupational hazard if it happened. You know what I mean? I remember after my 4th back surgery, my mom telling me, she was putting her hand over my mouth to check to see if I was breathing, because when she came into the kitchen, there were so many oxys missing and Valium missing. I was
Mm.
mixing, I was just taking handfuls of pills. And that was only 5.5, 6 years. That was only like 6 years ago.
Wow.
I started running a little less than 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years, January 25th. Um, and I'm coming up. I'm like 40 miles or so away, or 36 miles away from 3,000 on the year, and
Wow.
I'm coming up on 14,000 miles. Um, maybe around my 5 year anniversary, maybe a little after. We'll see. But like again, like running, it's I know some people say, oh, you replace it with this. Yeah, well, okay. Well, whatever you want to call it, you can call it. I can't pinpoint it myself. What I do know is that it gives me all those things. It gives me that sense of achievement. It gives me a little bit of a rush. It gives me something hard. It's something too, like when you train for these races, it's not instant gratification. Like you have to put months and months of work to get to this one day. And what do you get? You pay to do these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I'm not getting paid to do these. You run these things for the medal, but it's not the medal. It's the culmination of everything. It's the signing up for the race and knowing, you know what, this is going to be really hard. Like there's a chance I may not finish, and then putting in all that work and still being a chance that you may not finish. So
And for you,
you,
it's also it's a deeper purpose, right? Like you just mentioned. I mean, you battled, years of substance abuse to the point where you
yeah,
didn't know if there would be a tomorrow, and now it's not necessarily, oh, you found your purpose, but you've translated that negativity, that negative part of your life, that aspect that was literally killing you physically and mentally, and you've now turned it into a positive. And it's about just showing up every day, right? It's my motto of the show. It's keep showing
yeah,
up,
I love,
you know.
I love it. Because that's what it's about, man. It's about
Right.
consistency. It's about
Yeah.
showing up.
And
You
sure,
know, you,
it's
you do it
good.
sad, you do it angry, you do it tired, you
Right.
just show up. And you know what? Some days there's gonna be days where you just go through the motions. And you know what? Sometimes you don't realize it, but you're building so much mental strength because there's so much pulling you away from doing it, and you
Hmm.
still find a way to do it,
Right.
regardless
Right.
if it's not the best workout. Or you know what? Sometimes people that can't get out of bed, but you know what? You got out of bed today. You did stuff around the
Right.
house. You got up. You opened the window. It's
Yeah,
just
man, you went
about
for a walk. You did it. You went to work. Whatever it is. I mean, like, as opposed to, you know, taking that bottle of pills, as drinking that, bottle to the point where you're blackout drunk, right? Like, it's just,
yeah.
like it, those are some dark places to be where you're doing nothing with your life. It's not like, you're LT, snorting cocaine and getting on the field and, getting a couple of sacks, where at least you're still productive, abuser. But even then, it's not a healthy habit, right? It's not
Yeah.
something,
I mean,
it's not something
I
that's
guess
long lasting,
Yeah, I guess you could say I was semi-productive at times. Like
Mm,
I was never like I didn't live on the street, I never, but like I would go hard for like a couple months or whatever,
mm,
and then like I'd kind of slow down for a little bit, and then I'd find an excuse to not even just find an excuse, and I was just I never was straight. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
was I
yeah.
was always, and when I went, like for instance, like I'd have back spasms and I'd go to the hospital and I'd say, oh, do you want anything for pain? And I'd be like, yeah. And you know what else helps too? Valium. And then like I'd end up with a
Mm,
bottle of Valium and a bottle of pills. And those pills would last me like 2.5 days,
right.
and you're talking 30 pills of Percocet, whatever the hell. And I'm just popping them like candy.
Right.
So,
Mm,
but yeah, like I, I always knew I wanted more. I wasn't like happy with where I never was really content with where I was. And, I was a diesel mechanic for New Jersey Transit, and I lost that job. I had gotten my second DUI. And I remember there were times, I don't know if I don't know what like some of the statutes are. So I don't know how much I should say as far as like, I don't, of what I was doing while I worked there. So I don't want to say too much because honestly, I don't know if it actually, whatever, fuck it. I mean, so, there were times where, I'd have my head above the thing and I'd be driving a bus and I'd be getting high and,
mm,
or, I remember, I was on a bunch of Vicodin and I somehow like the piss lady came in and I just stalled and stalled and stalled and stalled and stalled and stalled, and just every time I had to pee in the cup, I wouldn't pee enough on purpose. and I just chugged water, and eventually I just pissed water and somehow passed the test. But like
Been there
I had,
before.
I had so many, I had so many close calls. I mean, I remember one night I I blacked out. I ate a bunch of Klonopin and a bunch of something
Mm.
else, and all I remember is getting. I remember I went to go get a sandwich, and I ate like a handful of pills on my way, and all I remember is getting pulled out of the car by a cop,
Damn.
and I passed out with my foot on the brake at an intersection,
Jeez.
and he pulled me out of the car, and the car kept rolling and going.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
thankfully I was stick, so it wasn't in gear, but it was rolling into the intersection,
Oh my
and you know
God.
we've gotten calls. You're all over the road. You're this. You're that, and I don't remember even getting to that point. I remember
Wow.
leaving the house, and that's it. And this is 2 hours later. So, I
Mm.
mean, I've had some really close calls, man, and somehow I didn't get arrested that night. So
Interesting.
there
Yeah.
were there were other times too where like I got pulled over and a cop, it was the end of the shift, and he's like, like he didn't say it to me, but they don't maybe they didn't want to do paperwork, so he's like, do you
Yep.
have anybody
Yep. Yep.
close
Yep.
to pick you up? The car's got to stay here, otherwise I'm taking you in, and it's my mom's phone's ringing at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning to come pick me up.
Yeah.
So I've had so many close calls. Like I should have a lot more DUIs. I should have a record. I've been arrested multiple times for different things. No felonies. Like I'm pretty lucky when it comes to it, and I'm also very lucky the fact that I finally, I woke up. I had some clarity, and I was talking with a buddy of mine, and I remember he asked me, do you read? And I was like, no, reading's not for me. And I hadn't read a book in like 20 years. And then 2 days later, something in my brain was like, you don't read, but you should read. Like that's when I feel like something started to kind of switch a little. I hadn't made any changes yet,
Mm-hmm.
but so then he recommended the book, Think and Grow Rich, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the book that changed my perception. 2 weeks into reading that book, I went on YouTube and typed in motivation, and David Goggins came up. I watched 2 podcasts of David Goggins, and I'm crying. I'm like, he's talking about me, like the confidence, the white lies, the not holding yourself accountable for anything, and it's the victim mentality and all this stuff. And that night, January 25th, 2021, I went out for my first run, and
Nice.
since then, it's been it's been a wild ride, man. I can't it's been awesome. Honestly, I can't. It's been awesome. It's been hard. It's been hard. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been like, I know a lot of times Instagram may look like a highlight reel, but I struggle, man. I still struggle. Like I battle my demons every day. Like just a couple weeks ago, man, there were a couple days where I just was down, man. Like, I was feeling, what's up, man? I was I was just down. Like I was in my head, like my I like my I was telling myself like, oh, all you do is run far, and like just stuff that I started school. I'm going to school now to become a certified personal trainer with strength and conditioning and all those different certifications. Like I said, I started that community for people with health issues, addiction, depression, chronic health problems, to use movement as medicine. And I want to use what I've learned to help other people. I really enjoy helping people. I mean, I know you can attest, like we started following each other. I don't know if I followed you first. I think you said I followed you first. So, but like, just randomly going back from reels and stuff like that. And you saw that I'd run some races, reached out to me. Ever since then, like now we finally met at the last race. Like we talk regularly. Like I have so many people on Instagram that I talk to every single day, man, that have been through shit, that understand it, and that not only just that have become like friends, man. I have so much support. I'm sure there's some haters out there, which is fine. But like the amount of support and the amount of good friendships and connections that I've made just on this journey alone, just from showing up every day and grinding and putting out a positive message and you know, and cheering other people on. You know, there's enough cake for everybody to eat, right? So
Indeed.
it's not just about us. It's not just about like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? Yeah, you want to be better than you were yesterday, but I want to see everybody else win too. You know, so like anybody that's running a race or has just ran their first, say, 5K or just ran their first mile, like I'm gonna congratulate the hell out of them. Like I want to see, that's growth, man. That's everybody started somewhere. I could not run a, I could not run 4/10 of a mile when I started.
Mm.
I threw up day 2 and day 3 after running 4/10 of a mile. I wanted to die. My lungs were on fire. My back was spasming. My legs hurt. Like everybody starts somewhere. And I'm not saying that I'm all the way up here. I have there's so much
Oh, no
room.
question, man.
But like,
No question.
dude, like it's everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's on their own journey. And we also got to remember, and I know it's easier said than done because I do it too sometimes, but we can't compare ourselves to others because their day one is their day one. Their journey can go, they may go quicker, they may go slower, but you know what? As long as there's forward progress, that's all that matters. And you know what? Sometimes there's not going to be forward progress. Sometimes you're going to have those days where you're beating your head against the wall. But guess what? You show up the following day.
That's all. Just
That's
gotta show
progress.
up.
That's progress.
That's it.
That's progress.
Just gotta
right
be
there.
there.
For those of you that are tuning in, I've let Kevin just take this show over. All right, he's become the host. That's it. That's it. You know, for this episode, he is because you know he's hit it spot on point after point. You know, he keeps on hitting on those topics. For those that are just tuning in, we have a new face on the screen. This is my co-host, as always, W. Dubois. Kev, meet my man, Pots and Pans, Dub, over here. This is a good friend of mine for a long time now. And my co-host on the show. This is the first time you guys are actually meeting and talking.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
want to
what's going
introduce
on,
you.
dude?
All right.
Kev, I'm here, bro. I've seen, I heard a lot.
Yeah, no, I see you. I see you on the gram as well, man. I see you guys talking sports. I love listening to it. And
Word, that's
I was talking to my father the other day. I said, you know, they talk sports like they get it. They understand the aspects of sports. Like it's not just some, you know, some people talk sports and you could tell they don't really. You could tell sometimes that they didn't play sports, or you could tell sometimes like when you talk about it, you're not just speaking with your ego, or you're not just speaking with your favorite team. You're talking about it from an objective point of view, which is a pleasure to listen to. It's just like you turning on some of the radio shows and you know you get analysts that don't have a fan of a team and they're talking. I know you have fans of teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you take an objective view to what you're doing
Absolutely.
and how you talk about things, and it's easy to watch, man. It's easy to watch. I enjoy it.
I appreciate that.
Also, a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks, Kev, man. Thank you, Kevin. And,
Really?
you know, that's what we try to do, man. That's why I just sit here and listen to because that's what we really try to do. Me and Matt talk about objective observing, just everything, man. So I appreciate that. And me and Maddie are like students of that era, of that
Yes,
AM era.
yes.
So everything you say, we're just soaking it up. I know Maddie was too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, for
Thanks,
sure,
Kev.
because like that is totally
Thank you, bro.
what you just described is exactly what we've been going for. So, like,
That's what we try to do, brother. Yeah. See, we
Winner,
try
winner.
to do.
Yeah.
Winner, man.
there's no doubt. So I appreciate
Yo, but
that, Kev.
But Kevin,
Yeah,
you were talking about everyone else, and you know, and that shit really resonated with me because it's like a regular run. Like when you run with someone, you got the pace runner, and we're all like pace runners for each other, you know? Because if you know Kev is going out there, you know, Maddie's going out there, like, damn, bro. And like you said, it's not comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. It's uncomfortable. But, you know, it's healthy. It's good. It's running. It's good. It's healthy. It's good for you. But, you know, it's like, they're like Brussels sprouts or whatever you don't like to eat, whoever don't like to eat, you know? They're good for you. It's good for you. It's uncomfortable. You don't like how it tastes.
Right.
But it does start to get tasting good and comfortable running. You know, that first a few minutes, whatever it is for you, first mile or 2 or 3
yeah.
or 5 minutes, Maddie. That warm up is hard as hell, right?
For sure.
It's the
That
most
first mile
difficult.
sucks
And
a
you
lot of
start going
times.
in. I
Yep.
can do this. I can do this. And every day we go through. But that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
You know what
Because
it
it's
is,
always
man.
you.
Yeah. And like a great quote is, you know, some people will say, "Oh, like it's getting easier." No, it doesn't get easier, man. You get strong. You get mentally and physically
Yeah.
stronger.
Right.
You start amazing yourself.
You're able to endure more. You're like, "Oh, you know what? I just did 3 miles.
Right. Let me
Let's
try
try
more.
4 miles.
Yeah.
Try 5
Yeah.
miles." It becomes
Yeah.
like, okay, now there's always a carrot in front of you.
Now you're competing with yourself, and that's what we're talking about. That's what
Yeah.
we're competing with ourselves. And Kev, you talk about community and shit. That's what it's all about. Because, like, man, me, Maddie, we ran this morning. We're not gonna even talk about running. Oh, you did? Okay, I'm a full runner. You did? Oh, I didn't. I'm gonna go tomorrow. It's just like, that community, that run community, that shit is everything, bro.
Yo,
So
the
just
ultra,
seeing people on the gram, even people I don't know, I don't give a shit. I'm like, yeah, bro.
yeah,
Every
it's
time I
awesome.
walk past
It
people,
really is, man. There's so
they're
much.
running in the morning. You can feel that energy from them. They're running right past you. You don't know this guy. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the more good energy you put out, the more good energy you get. Like you get what you put out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, it's so awesome to see. Like, I love seeing somebody run their first 5K or their first half marathon or like, dude, pound your chest, man. You earn that shit. You earn
Yeah.
every step of that race. Like those high rocks things, man. Those things are badass too. Like,
Oh,
like
for sure. Yeah.
like anything where you're really pushing yourself, where you got to stretch your brain and you got to really, talk yourself into, and not only just talk yourself into, but you got to will yourself to it. And it's something that is built. It's not something.
It's funny, Kev, with running, like everybody who starts, they tell their story, why they started or how they started. And everyone has a different story and they're all pretty interesting. But it's like everyone had something they were going through, whether it's addiction, whether in my case, I had a whole crazy situation moving here, my divorce and other things. And during the pandemic or anything, people they're going through things and they just run. Like even Forrest Gump, when Jenny shitted on him, he just ran. You know what I'm saying?
People I used to work with used to call me Gump.
I heard, bro. I heard you. I heard what you're saying. What you're doing, bro. It's fucking God.
But
man. Wow.
Like when I
but it's a medication. It's a medication, Kevin. It's a medication. Is what I was gonna say.
It's medicine. Yeah, and that's when I put out the videos, especially like for the community of people, like I use the term movement is medicine because it is. I mean, I didn't come up with that, but movement is medicine. I mean, it does something to the brain. It does something with the body. It's more mental than it is physical.
Yeah.
I didn't start running because I liked it. Honestly, I started running. I hated running. 2 weeks before I ran my first day, you can quote me saying, running's the stupidest thing. Why would anybody ever run to run? And then a month later, I'm like, yo, everybody needs to fucking run. Everybody's got to sleep. So like I started running. I watched a couple podcasts and I was like, you know what? I don't run, but I need to run. Just like reading. I don't read, but I need to read.
Right. I heard you saying
that. Podcast.
You
just started reading. It's running can also channel into other things. Like
it opens your mind.
You want to grow in running. Okay, now I want to get smarter. So how do you get smarter? You read books, you listen to podcasts, you ask questions, you like all these different things. Like it becomes a lifestyle. A growth mindset is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It be like Matt, you like look at all the stuff you've done. You've run ultra marathons as well. You guys both have a podcast. You got 40,000 subscribers. You guys have a legit show. Like who would have thought? Like however many years ago,
I wouldn't thought a year ago. A year ago,
a legitimate show. You'd have 40,000. That's a big fucking deal, dude.
Yeah, a year ago I wouldn't have thought it. I didn't think this was. I still don't really.
No, man. Yeah, process it.
Dude, you ran a marathon with a 24-hour notice.
Yeah.
That was insane, Matt.
That's hilarious. that is
That was
hilarious.
that.
I was like,
And I had
said
a
to
personal
Matt, I
record
said,
to
You
I
did
boot.
that shit, bro. You
I
did
gotta
that
find
shit,
a girl
bro.
like that. I gotta find a girl like that.
That was
I
a
said,
challenge.
"Look,
Like,
you're running 50
that was a
miles
challenge.
tomorrow."
Yeah, she thought it was comical. Yeah, she was having a good old time
Dude,
with it. On the
we were
other,
my parents and I and her were talking about it. So like I had an
Oh,
idea.
man.
I wasn't positive, but I had an idea Delaware, but I wasn't 100%.
yeah,
And
I
even
think
when
he's
we were
gonna
sitting
go
at
PA.
dinner, my mom played dumb too. Like
that's
we
funny.
had an idea. I didn't know when.
I thought
And
she
that when
told
I
you.
saw
I'm
that
pretty
video,
sure she
dude,
told you though. But yeah.
not exactly, dude. When I saw that video, that was incredible. Incredible.
For those of you that don't know, my wife had I had given her a 5-month notice that she can sign me
Right.
up for. Well, didn't have to be 5 months, but I gave her. It ended up being a 5-month notice because that's when she planned this marathon. It could have been any time before that 5-month period as well. I given her notice months prior, back early on in this early year, and I said, hey, let's do a fun thing. And it really wasn't for clicks, likes, or anything like that. It was just a fun little thing for me and her to do because, I'm crazy and I like running marathons. And also, it was a good way for us to travel and do some things. So I gave her some parameters. I said, hey, you give me 24 hours notice that I'm running a marathon. Obviously, for me, I stay trained throughout the year. So it wasn't going to be like a huge deal, although it's still a pretty damn big deal.
Dude, 26 miles is 26 miles.
No
man.
doubt, right? That's a huge,
Don't
I
play it
know,
off,
I'm
bro,
downplaying it a
regardless.
little bit, but and then on top of that, it had to be out of state. So and that's where it became like a destination
You
thing.
gotta travel, you know.
And it ended up being pretty wild because, again, like when she had given me notice, for those of you who don't know, it's on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You could see
I
it.
shared it too. I think it's probably
Yeah.
in one of my things.
You can
We
take
all
a look
did.
back. She wakes me up out of my sleep, by the way, in the bed, and say, "Hey, you have 24 hours to run a marathon."
Hilarious.
And it was real raw. It was just, it was just, it is what it
dude,
is.
you still had
You
the
get what
fog
you
in your-
get,
you still
right?
had the boogers in your eyes.
And I
Yeah,
did
that shit
it.
was real. It wasn't no skit.
I went out
No.
there. I went out there and I
It was
did
raw.
it. I got a personal record, much like you endured during your road marathon this year. I hit a wall at mile 18, and fought for my life through that last 8 miles. Those last 3 miles, I was a different person. I don't even really, I can't even describe it. The energy that I had regained in those last 3, all of a sudden now I was no longer in pain. Now I'm
That's
just
the mind
Iron
taking
Man.
over.
That's what you're talking. That's what he was
That's
talking
the
about.
mind taking over, baby.
Right, and it was just like, oh
Mind
yeah,
taking over.
you were dealing with pain a while ago. What's that?
Your
Like, let's
phone
fucking
was right
let's
there.
finish this.
Your brain can see the finish line. He's like, yo, let's
the,
go.
the whole time, and like you mentioned Andy Glaze earlier, famous ultra runner. I always, whenever I reach that last 5K, I always hear him say, anybody, your mother can run a 5K. That's his famous line. And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I've gotten this far, and let's finish it off strong, man. And I kicked it into gear a little bit, and it was a beautiful thing. I had a
Very
great
impressive.
time.
Very impressive.
And I have
I was
you,
so
Kev.
proud. I was so proud of you, man. So happy for the both of you. That was such an awesome thing. Like,
Yeah.
that was one of the coolest things. I was like, man, I gotta find the chick like that. Like,
I have
somebody,
you to
like,
thank for that, my friend, because
Dude, that's
you
what
have pushed me a lot.
that's what it's about, though. Like, that's what it's about, though. Like, somebody that pushes you to be better, just to push your limits, to grow, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's this, whether it's that. Like, that's what it's about, man. That's what we do with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was
as
is
friends,
the
we
community
push
is
each other.
about, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and speaking of community, I do want to go back to some of your races and things like that. But before we do, I really want to plug in what you have going on with your website and the community you're trying to build. Speak about it a little bit. It's on Skool. Skool is an app, website. Doesn't matter. You can get on both.
It's a website, app. It's a website, app, It's a platform where you can build communities. There's all different types of communities on there. There's people that are coaches that do stuff. There's just communities of similar interests. There's communities of recover. There's all different types of communities. And I started a community where we use movement as medicine. Doesn't necessarily have to be running, but you know, you will basically it's a bunch of people. It's going to be a community where we support each other. You could share whatever you'd like. You could share your clean time. You know, you can share what's going on in your life because you're going to be around people that you can relate to. You know, like everybody in there is in there for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm the only one in there right now, but everyone in there is going to be, whether it's depression, addiction, chronic health issues, everybody has obstacles that they're all trying to overcome. Everybody's trying to better themselves. And we want to do it through movement because I can't say, I mean, I've said it 100 million times how much movement and running has helped me more mentally than it has physically.
Yeah.
You know, yes, I'm in good shape. Yes, I'm in the best shape of my life, but I'm in the I was I was a shell mentally. I was a shell mentally, and it's not just the running. I mean, running is the catalyst, but like, you know, you start running and then you start inquiring about different things. Okay, what has this,
Yes.
like health things, and then it's like, oh, you know what,
I
you want to
really
read
think
books,
like
you want to read inspiring books, you want to. So in this community, we're going to, you know, I will every once in a while I'll post like a training plan if somebody wants to run their first mile, if somebody wants to run their first 5K, if somebody wants to run whatever distance. But also, I also through that, I mean, the community is the community. We're going to share. You can share. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to share some generic training plans for that. But I also will, if people are interested, I will individually coach them for races and set up a unique training plan for them. Now that will be separate, but it will come from the community. But the community is basically just a community of like-minded individuals who want to grow, who are trying to better themselves, and movement is basically the medicine we're using to overcome these things and to jumpstart that healing process, to jumpstart that recovery. Whether say you have arthritis and it's okay, it's maybe doing yoga, it's maybe doing, you know, but running and walking and hiking and things that kind of that get you up, that get you moving, that that bring oxygen to that, open up the brain, that do all those types of things that kind of get you moving in a forward direction.
Kev, in order to join the community, obviously, for those that are watching live or in post, I'll put the whole link and everything in the bio and all that.
The link is in my. The link is in my.
I have it. I've been putting it up for the screen. It's on your homepage on Instagram.
So
it has been there.
It is. So you know, you can charge to put in. My fee is $1. So
okay.
If you want to join,
$1 a month.
It's $1 a month.
Okay, $1 a month. That's not asking for a lot. That's very actually feasible.
You know, and I pay to keep it running. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to make money. I'm not looking to make money off it. I just want to like.
So we got to get the app.
What's that?
There's an app or a website. Yeah.
And then
there's an app and a website.
You get the link, and then it goes to your community, and you join your
right. So the app or the website is Skool, SKOOL. And yeah, it's a community. I post in it every day.
For those of you that are watching, I have it up right there on the screen right now as we're speaking.
There you go.
You can see K-Mac Runs, E82. That's Kevin Mccloskey's Instagram page. He has the link right there for you, so go check him out. Go give him a follow, and then check out his little community right there. All right, $1 a month. That's not asking for a lot. He's not price gouging you people. He's not price gouging. In fact, you know, as his friend, I got to become a member of this community, so I'm going to be joining shortly after the show. All right, I'll be getting in there with him, and I want to promote this because this is a good thing. This needs to happen. A lot of people could use this especially for those that may be
It's a safe space too,
right,
you know,
that
like
may
you
be
can share what's going
unwilling.
on in your life.
There's a lot of people that get a little hesitant to join, real in life running communities, running clubs, things like that. I'm one of them. I'm not like I don't want to, be running with hundreds of people or meeting up weekly and things like that. But I like this idea of the virtual thing where you can still, build a community. You can still, build friendship and companionship and share your journey in a virtual space.
You can
And,
post like, "Hey, I just went for a run today. I just did this. I've
right,
celebrated 6 months clean."
right,
You
right,
can
right.
celebrate the stuff too. You could celebrate. You don't even have it. Doesn't have to just be
Exactly.
celebration. You
Yeah,
know what? I had a tough day today. I'm
right.
going through this, and you know what? This person who struggled with addiction or this person who struggled with health, they may have some wisdom from it. They may have been through something similar. Like it's a community where we can help each other, and it's off of Facebook, it's off of Instagram, it's in its own thing, it's it's private.
Yeah,
It's not, you have to you have to, it's not like somebody can share it to something else. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
like, and it's just a place where, like-minded people, people who have struggled and who have overcome obstacles can gather in a community and we can all use movement to help us.
Right. Um,
SKOOL, right? SKOOL.
you
It's the
got
app.
it.
Yep.
You got it.
There you go, guys. Okay.
Right. For those that are listening, I will drop that in the bio, in the description, the whole nine. We'll promote the hell
Nice.
out of it and make sure you guys know where to find them. All right, and please,
Cool communities.
at the very least,
There it is.
doesn't hurt.
There it is.
Go head over Instagram, Facebook, give them a follow there. Kev, are you on YouTube? Or no.
No, I mean I have like an old thing that I was on. Believe it
You
or not.
you ought to get on YouTube, bro. You ought to get on
Yeah,
YouTube.
now you are.
Well, I have a Gmail, so like I do have
There
a
you go.
YouTube.
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's
saying.
not like I should start a mind over
And
miles.
TikTok as well, man. Get on there, man. It's
I
the
I
more
don't
you
know
put your out, so.
Yeah, no, I have a TikTok. I've been on it maybe a handful of times. I've
Yeah.
posted a couple. Honestly, I don't know how to really make
I know.
still
reels
learning
and
too.
I know.
stuff.
It's I can help you out with that. Because I've recently have been on TikTok now. I'm starting to learn it.
I'm still learning too, bro.
Right. I'm
The
with you.
links, Maddie. I have so many questions I got for you, Maddie, concerning that.
we
Oh my God.
we are pretty old heads when it comes to that because everybody's on TikTok right now. You
But
can
guess what, yo? They're gonna come check you out, bro.
No, they will though. I promise you. Let me tell you, the reach on TikTok is unreal compared to some of the other
Yes, it's
applications.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
Um,
and
and-
now I
and-
have a TikTok.
It's
do
pro-
have-
I really do suggest you get a little bit
You
more
have-
active on those.
I've had
on
one
those,
for a minute. I didn't use it. I started using it really like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and this
started
guy's
really
got like
using it.
100 likes on his videos. Like so,
Yeah, like I'm doing well.
it-
And it's the same videos on Instagram. They're like, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, I'm all
That's where
over.
they're at.
I'm like I'm on Instagram, and my Instagram naturally
Yes.
shares to Facebook, and it's
Right.
it's just like I don't know. I like to. It's good. Yeah, I've had so many people tell me I need to get on TikTok and I
Yeah,
need to
man,
start
you
doing
do.
stuff on TikTok and stuff. I've posted maybe 1 or 2 videos in the last 8 months, 9 months. Like
yeah, we'll get you on there.
TikTok makes whatever you're doing look more attractive for some reason.
It's true, and
You know.
also
I don't know
it's
why.
like generally easy. You can choose one platform or the other, and then you can just send out like your posts on all the platforms. So like you can choose Instagram to just share all your stuff to Facebook and TikTok all at once. You could do the same with TikTok, or you can do it individually, kind of like how I do it, but it's kind of the more complicated way. But either way, it is definitely something you should, especially if you're trying to reach more people, you're trying to build a community.
so the one thing I do
You know,
have to say with TikTok is like, so if anybody who follows my Instagram, I'm a big hip hop guy. Like
yeah,
like old school, underground, like hard, like
love it.
like hip hop, like not a lot, not stuff you're really gonna hear on the radio, not that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
Like I'm big into,
Immortal
I'm
Technique and shit.
I was born in the 80s.
Hey,
and
I
grew up
love
in the
Immortal
90s,
Technique.
like,
You like Immortal Technique type of dude.
yeah, like the golden era,
All right,
like
so
the
what's the
golden
problem
era
with
and
that? What's the
underground
problem with
and
that?
No, he's
but
cool.
like
He's just
some of
horror
his
rap.
songs
Somebody said
doesn't.
horror rap. I think when you guys said horror
No,
rap,
no,
I thought of
no.
Immortal Technique.
No, but what do you mean though, Kev? Like,
Okay, so like
what's
for
the
instance,
issue?
I'll share a video on Instagram with whatever song. Say I don't know, Joel Ortiz, we'll just use for an example. So I'll share a song with like a Joel Ortiz and an Eric Sermon song, and then I go to share it on TikTok, and they're like, "You can't use this audio," and then I can't find that song there or that clip, and it's like it's so I need to learn how to do it. Is basically
Right.
what.
Okay, I may have a quick fix around that for you. So
With the
again,
music
All right, we can do
yeah,
that when you
yeah,
come by, when
yeah.
you finally come out to Jersey. When you come out to
Yeah,
Jersey,
we'll just like with W, we'll sit in the lab a little bit. I'll show you some editing skills on it. There's a way you gotta understand the copyright issues with some of these things.
yes, that's
So
what it is.
that's every app is kind of particular. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, they all kind of it. Instagram and Facebook are similar because they're owned by Meta, so it's kind of under the same jurisdiction. But YouTube, TikTok, they kind of have their own copyright issues with it. So there's a way to get around that. And certainly when it comes down to music, long story short, honestly, as long as it's under 60 seconds, you're typically good on any app. But in order how you produce that video is also important. So I could get into depth
got
with you.
some
You know,
homework,
yeah,
brother.
yeah. There's a little homework to do on it. It's confusing
so
as
when you
hell.
come out here,
Yeah,
when you
for
come out
sure.
here, I mean, I shared something on TikTok last week.
Okay.
The week before, I shared
Yeah.
something. Like I'm trying to
Okay.
get into it.
Okay.
I
So you're
gotta
somewhat
learn
active
my
on there.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, my Instagram
Yeah.
reels are really simple too. Like I
Yeah.
don't do anything fancy. I don't know how to like make things pop and do stuff like that. So
But yeah,
I'm
that's the thing. You don't need to a lot of times,
no,
bro.
I know. Yeah,
You
no,
know.
I'm pretty generic, but like I just need to get my feet under me, I guess you could say, in
Right.
TikTok. And once I get that, but yeah, like I just need like maybe like a slight tutorial of, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just so many different social media things. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna check my Instagram, I'm gonna check my Facebook, and now I'm gonna check my TikTok. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
I
like,
know. I know. It's a lot, but hey, that's the life
no,
we're
I
kind
know
of
that's
living.
the
Yeah.
time. Time it is now. And that's what, and my all my stuff. I'm going to school to become a certified coach, and I want to start coaching people. Well, I have coached people, but I want to turn that into my my career. I want to
Right.
I want to be a coach, a life coach, a running coach, a fitness coach. So like all that stuff, my phone or my computer is everything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So these
Absolutely.
sites are there for a reason. I got to use them.
Yep, you gotta learn how to use it, and I'll be there to help you as well. Listen, we've been going for a long time now, a little bit about hour 25 plus. We've been going for. Dubby's here with us. I want to start, closing things out with you, but and I don't want to rush you out of here by any means, but
No,
I do want to
dude,
double back.
I feel like we covered pretty much everything. I did a little briefing on every race, a
No
little
doubt.
description. Went over mind over miles. We talked a little bit about my past.
I do
we
have
talked
some.
about-
I do have some questions for you. Okay, and
Sure,
Dub.
let's go.
Dub, I'm not sure. As I ask one or two, maybe you can chime in a little bit if you have any questions as well.
Okay.
Kev, overall, so the overall count for the runs. Correct me if I'm wrong. For you for this year is 4 total.
Four
races, right? Out of the
3
4 races,
ultramarathons.
right? 3 ultra marathons, 1 road marathon. You got 1 100 miler, 1 50 miler with me, and a 31 miler, right? The 50K is 32.
32, brother. Don't
30,
shortchange that mile.
yeah, all right. I'm sorry. All right. 32.
Well, you're
32.
right. A 50K is 31 miles.
It is, right? Okay, they gave a little extra. And then with the road marathon, of course, 26.2 in Atlantic City. Out of all the races, what was your favorite and why?
Ooh. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Like,
question. Damn good question.
there you go. And it doesn't
Wow.
have to be mine, okay? I'm not going to be upset if it's not the
No,
one with
no,
me, all right? Don't worry
no.
about it.
It probably isn't.
He was contemplating that answer, right?
So I guess
We bailed him out.
honestly, the one thing so it's kind of a loaded question. So
Mhm.
the
Yeah, that's the point, baby. That's the point.
so the 100 miler probably because I trained so hard
Okay.
all summer, every
Yeah.
day in the heat.
Yeah, you really
95.
grinded for that 100 miler. That was the one you were
You know,
grinding for
I
all
was
year
running
long.
90,
Where
100,
did you
80,
do that
90,
at?
100-mile weeks in the dead heat of
October.
the summer. And I don't run inside. I've been running on the treadmill a little bit lately because of the pounding. I don't want to stop running, but I also want to do a little less pounding. So I've been running a little bit on the treadmill, but I don't run inside. I always run outside. If the weather's bad, I have to run outside. Like, so I don't let myself take the easier, like if it's cold out, if it's 5 degrees outside, guess what? You're going outside, you're running. If it's pouring rain, if it's a hurricane, if it's whatever, I have to be outside. I used to take the path of least resistance all the time. I took shortcuts. I took, anything to get out of this, or if it got too hard, I would quit. Like, so I can't do that anymore. Like, that's a promise I made to myself that outside circumstances aren't going to keep me from doing,
No
unless it's
excuses.
like for a
Unless
specific
you're
reason.
injured, right? Or some time, yeah.
Or injured. I'm
Unless you're
injured right
injured.
now, so I'm running on
No,
the
you're
treadmill.
hurting. You're hurting. You're injured?
Oh yeah, I'm injured.
Yeah, he's
What's
been
wrong?
running injured for a while now. Well, were you listening earlier, sir? He did
No, he's
explain
banged
it. He did mention it
Yeah,
a little
the
bit.
hip flexors.
Hold
But
on,
right
now,
now,
hold
like,
on. Before
dude,
we get there, though, let's
Okay.
finish the question, Kev. All right,
all right. So
your
I would
favorite
say,
is the 100, and why exactly?
so I would say it's the 100 because of all the work that was put in to get there. Um, it was, training those long, training 80, 90, 100-mile weeks
Yeah.
in the dead
Mm.
middle of summer, outside every day.
Yeah.
No matter if I was tired, if I was sore, if I was cranky, if I was happy, if I was whatever, like my feelings, like I say that and some people take it to a different, but like I always say, like your feelings, like when I'm in training and stuff, like my feelings don't matter.
Mm.
And it's not necessarily like I can't feel, and like it's basically like, okay, you wake up today, you don't feel like running, guess what? Your feelings don't matter. You don't
Oh my
get
God.
to, you sign up for a goal, you gotta put the work in. Like, you know what? You had a rough day, you're in a bad mood, suck it up and go run.
Right.
Like you signed up for something, you're not gonna, you don't miss trainings, you don't miss training sessions just because, like you may be a little sick. And I'm not saying like you have 105 fever, but like
Mm.
I've run with COVID, I've run with like respiratory like I just I try not to let outside circumstances keep me from doing what I said I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that 100-miler was a grind, man. And anybody that follows me, I post a reel every day of me running. It's nothing crazy. It's just it holds me accountable. It's just my page is basically it's really nothing special. It's consistency. It's showing up every day. It's it's just putting the work in.
Yeah.
You're just see me day in and day out, putting the work in, showing up. And yeah, trust me, man, I have days where a lot of days I don't want to do it. Like, like on a Saturday, it's 95 degrees and I got a 3.5, 4 hour run I got to do. I don't want to do that, but I signed up for something and I don't have a choice. And that's what I mean when I say my feelings don't matter. Like, you don't get to just not do it.
Mm.
We let ourselves off the hook way too easy. We don't hold ourselves accountable. So I have to hold myself accountable and I have to do these things. And that's why that race is so special too, because of the blood, the sweat, the tears that that I put into getting to that point.
Right. It's not even
know what I
about the
mean?
race itself, right? I mean, like,
Correct.
you
Because
know,
really,
it was the journey to get there that was the most important thing. And I
that's
feel
why.
that. Yeah.
Every race was special in its own. I mean, the 50 miler with me and you was phenomenal, dude. We finally got to meet each other.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I stood at the finish line in my socks, and socks are wet. I'm standing in the grass, like for an hour, just waiting, or whatever, however long it was.
And Maddie's in the pitch dark, pitch black singing Sting. Running through the forest, baby.
Yeah. So like
It was dark as
yeah.
hell, huh?
Oh, it was
That
pitch
was
black. Pitch
special.
black. You couldn't see 5 feet in front of you, Dub. You couldn't see
Wow,
5 feet
you
in
were
front of you.
running?
Yeah.
I don't know what I was.
Yeah, baby.
you know,
running.
and that was
Oh, I
that was,
had a headlamp, but you know that's
Jesus
5 feet in front of
Christ.
you. That's it. That's all you got, baby. And then
Yeah,
I had Kevin, my wife, waiting for me at the finish line. It was a beautiful thing. I will personally, Kev, I will say this. I will remember that race till the day I die. I will be on my deathbed and I will smile and I will look back at that and say, man, what a life. You know, I truly I will. I'm not saying that just for fodder,
No, that's a hell of a-
No, I know.
truly, like I will look back on this and wow, you know, like
and I met your wife that day. I met
You know.
you that day.
yeah,
And well, I mean, we've talked a bunch over the phone. I was on your podcast a while back, but I mean, like we met face to face. I met your wife that day, and I remember I felt like I knew your wife forever. You know, like just from the morning talking, and then at the end of the race, while we were waiting at the finish line, I remember saying to her like, "I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see him," and I'm like, and I said to her, I said, "You know what? I'll let you hug him first." And the minute you
That's
crossed the
hilarious.
finish line, I hugged you first.
He said, "I'm gonna let you hug him first." That's
I
hilarious.
And then I hugged-
Dub,
and then I
it
ended
was
up
my
hugging him
fault.
first.
I went right to him. I was like, screw Dorothy. I went right to him, like, dad my boy up first.
That's why Dorothy did that shit to you with the Delaware shit to you. That's probably why. See, you got to pay
No.
attention.
Listen, I saved the best for last, all right? And that's my wife, and I gave her a good hug and a kiss
Yeah,
after
There
that,
you
all
go.
right?
There you
know,
go. There you
that's
go.
it.
She's
Real
amazing.
quick, real quick. These guys just tied the game up down 15.
I'm watching,
The
Dub.
Rams.
I'm
You
watching.
see that?
I'm
It's at the
watching.
point?
Yes, I did.
Unbelievable.
I have it. I have it to my left right here. I've been watching.
All right. Oh my God. Unbelievable.
It's a
Kevin.
big time NFL game going on as we live record this
I
right
have it
now.
off because
You know?
I also have ADD, and I would get distracted. I'd be
Yeah.
doing this, so
Well, you're
I'm just
missing
focused
one
on
hell of a
practice, yeah.
game, Kev. I appreciate you for coming on. But it's
I'm
30-30 with 1
You
minute
hit
and
the
6
over, bro.
left.
You hit that
Yeah.
bet too, you son of a gun.
I
Anyway,
know. I
we'll
hit
talk
my
about
two.
that later.
I hit my 2 game
You did.
parlay tonight, baby. All right, cheers
You
for
did.
that. But
You did.
Kev, you know, we talked
Yeah.
about a lot of things tonight, and I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Dude,
You're the best.
I had a blast. I had a blast, man. This was awesome. And I'm glad you came on, man. It was a pleasure meeting you. Awesome talking with you also, man. You guys are doing awesome work. Your podcast is great. I thank you so much for having me on, not once, but twice.
And more.
You know, Matt, you've become
Oh,
a good
man,
friend of
you
mine. You know, it's awesome, man. I love what you guys are doing. Always sending a positive message. Matt, your mental health Mondays are awesome.
Thank you, man.
You know, you're genuine. You care. You're out there pushing yourself. You have a family. You have a podcast. You run. You have a full time. Like, you're doing it, man. Like, you're working. You guys have a great show going on.
Thanks, Kevin.
It's it's awesome. I appreciate you guys for having me on. I had a blast.
Yeah, man.
And
No, listen, man. You know, I can talk you up all
He's telling his
as much.
dad, bro, about us, bro. He's like, I was telling my pops about you guys, and come on, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
know.
Thank
I
you a
really
lot.
appreciate you, man. And you know, listen, you've been just a huge inspiration to me, and I couldn't be more grateful for your friendship and having you come on. Dub, before we do get him out of here, we cut the break and everything. Is there any questions that you did want to ask for him before we get out of here?
Yeah, I got a question. Why did you start running between 2 weeks not hating it, and what clicked? Was there just like one thing that clicked? Like, if you asked me, I could answer it, and everyone could answer it. Was there one moment? or a specific
A
thing, or was
specific
it
moment, yeah.
a long?
That clicked
How
for
did that
me
happen?
when I was running.
Why run? No, why did you choose running?
Well, I was watching.
Yeah, it could have been anything
the.
else, right? It could have been anything
I was
else. Could have been,
watching.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was reading that book, and then something told me to go on YouTube, and I don't know
And
what it
watch
was.
that
I was
David
literally having
Goggins,
like
yeah.
an outer body experience, and
Running
I
found
typed in
you.
motivation, and I watched two um, David Goggins podcasts, and he talks about running and running as a form of way to push himself. And I hated running, and I had just started
Okay,
to
so it's
read, and
David
I hated
Goggins.
reading, and running just was part of that conversation. And I was like, you know what? I have sneakers. I can,
It's
you know,
easy. Just
I made a
go.
promise to myself. I literally went live. I deleted it because at that time I was still that person who was embarrassed or whatever. So,
Hmm.
but I went on and I said, you know, from this day on, I'm going to be a different version of myself. I'm going to push myself. I'm going to, you know, and
Nice, nice.
it started as just like, okay, can I do this for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You know, can I be consistent for 2 weeks? And then 2 weeks, I was
Turned
already
into
running.
now.
And then 5 days in, I was running twice a day.
Wow.
Yeah, because you
Wow.
felt you wanted more. The medicine.
Well, it wasn't even that. It didn't matter what it was. I would have set myself on fire if I knew that. I felt like I found out the secret to life. Not that it was running, but that it was hard work. It was having a positive mindset.
Yeah.
It was your perception on life. It was being hopeful and also knowing that, you know what, like everybody's a human being, and not like I thought like I was just dealt a bad hand. Like, no, I wasn't just dealt a bad hand. You know what? Like I was given some of these things. Some of them were my own doing, but I was given
Hmm.
some of
Yes.
these things on
Most
purpose
of it is our doing.
to strengthen me for what's coming in the future. And I had no idea that my journey would be helping others. And like people, so many countless people have messaged me and said, you know, even in the beginning, like, oh, I love what you're doing. Like, you know, I was so, I was like that. So I say the first book, like lit a fire under me.
Yeah.
And then Goggins just poured gasoline on it.
Right.
So
So,
running
and
into
then
Goggins so pretty much showed you running, like he pointed it out to you.
it was almost like, so the book and Goggins it was almost like
Okay.
something, like I figured something out. Like, you mean I'm not broken and I could do
Mm,
these things?
mm.
I just didn't
Yeah.
have the work ethic, and I just didn't believe in myself, and I just quit too easy, and I just didn't take accountability for anything, and I just took shortcuts, and you know, I had a poor mindset, and I just I had post-its on my mirror of all shit that I hated about myself.
Hmm.
And I just I
You
realized,
really
like,
you had
I'm
stuff
not,
that you wrote down that you hated about yourself?
yeah, I'm not broken.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
it made me feel like I'm not broken. Like, I'm not broken. I'm just, you mean I could do all these things? I just have to put the work in. I just have to work harder than everybody else. And I was like, from this day forward, man, I'm gonna work hard as possible, no matter what it is. Um, you know, I know this is a me against me, but like I was also, I'm gonna outwork everybody. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm gonna put the work in. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna run twice a day. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna study. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And don't get me wrong, there's days where, you know, like I always get the run. But there's days where, like, you know what, like maybe I only listen to 30 minutes of my book, or maybe, you know, like I fall short all the time. Like there's days where like I'm in my head. Plenty of days where I'm in my head, and you know what, I have to show up again the next day,
Yeah.
and try to learn from what just happened. Like, you know, why am I thinking this way? Why is this? Why is that? There's a book, there's a podcast, there's so many people that have been through similar stuff where we can learn from, where we can
Hmm.
grow from, and inspiring stories, people overcoming obstacles, weight, cancer, this, that, you name it, man. All that shit is fuel.
Yeah.
The hate fuel, the old prior shit, the 4 back surgeries, the drugs, the mindset, all the other shit that I hated about myself. That's all fuel. The good stuff is fuel. It's all fuel. Like I just a switch flipped. like it was like, you know how they say like sometimes the message has always been there, you just weren't ready to hear it.
Right.
So like
Yeah.
I've heard so many times, you know what, you can be anything you want to be, but it never
Mm.
resonated. Like I just thought like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we
you know,
just brush it off, right? Like it's not,
but like,
you know,
and
like,
you know, you heard inspirational
yeah.
quotes. Well, the minute I
A
started
lot
reading
of
that,
times,
not the
yeah.
minute, 2 weeks after I started reading that book, I'm a slow reader. So when I was driving to work I was working in Jersey City and living down the shore. I was seeing the same billboards I saw every day, but now
Mm.
when I read them, I was
Look
getting a message.
different.
The music I was hearing
Mm.
was giving me a message. I felt lighter. I was
Right.
on a
Right.
high for months, like a
Yo, man,
month.
that it opens your mind. It really like, oh, actually, it feels like it's opening pores in your brain
Yeah,
where you can
it was
just
like an enlightenment. I
perceive
was enlightened.
more.
You know,
It's
it was.
almost,
I was enlightened. It was like my soul understood
I
what
totally can
all
feel what
these
you're
things
saying.
were telling me. And now my head was up instead of down. So now I could see all these blessings and all these signs and all these things. My head was down a lot of the times.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not always necessarily down, but I wasn't thinking that way. It was, oh shit, I got to do this. Oh no, you get to do this. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? Like, don't
You're
get me wrong.
living, you're living on a different frequency at that point, right?
Correct,
You know,
hundred
yeah. Yeah.
percent,
There it is. Well said.
100%. And you know what? Even still, some days, like you feel like you don't understand what's going on, and you wish it would stop. But then, you know, you get through it, and then you're like, you know
Mm.
what? Like, I learned from that. Like, I
It's not.
didn't
It's
necessarily
nothing, yo. I
see it.
got from that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't necessarily
You.
see it right away, but now my mind is open to that. Like, okay, why did I react that way? What is actually, you know, even a couple weeks ago with me lowering the mileage, like I was in my head, like I was
Mm.
battling and you know, I reached out to a few friends of mine and you know, I had a friend say, you know, you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, you know what, you have to go through some of those times. And then, you know
Losses are
what,
lessons.
and then I had the race, and then like it's just you go through peaks and valleys, man. You just gotta, like Matt always says, man, just every day just keep showing up. And that is really, that's the most important thing, you know, is just, you know what, some days you get your ass kicked, some days you're the nail, some days you're the hammer, right? So
Yeah.
some days, you know, some days it's a rough one, you know, but live to fight another day, right? You show up the next day, you try to be better, you try to just constantly be better. Some days, you know what? You may fall short.
Mm.
Other days you may get a few steps further. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a constant, it's not a game, but it's a constant thing. It's a lifestyle too. Like you gotta,
It's the epitome of life, Kev. It's the constant ups
yeah,
and downs.
yeah,
It's the
life's
false
hard. It's
peaks,
not
the
supposed to be easy.
valleys, the summits. You know, when you think you're high on the top, well, eventually you got to
Mhm.
come down from that mountain, right?
Mhm.
When you think you've reached the top, guess what? You're halfway there. The journey has just
When
begun.
you think it's over, you get recharged.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean it's the epitome of life. It's what we go through, and that's I think the biggest moral story of it all. You know,
Yeah.
is that you're never too high, you're never too low. You know, it's just there's always going to be something next, and you got to be ready for when it comes. And the more important part of it all is that you keep on showing up through it all, no matter
Yeah.
what
And
the
sometimes,
circumstance is.
yeah,
You
and
know,
sometimes you don't see it sometimes as it's going on, but sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from the lowest points. Like I was at
absolutely,
rock bottom. I
absolutely.
was at
Always.
rock
Yeah.
bottom. Now, I
Wow.
wasn't at rock bottom when I started running and started this journey. I was at rock bottom maybe 6 months to a year prior,
Hmm.
but you rock bottom isn't always a bad thing. I mean, you
No,
learn
I
where you
mean,
don't you learn where you don't want to be.
as long as you learn from it, right? Because we, you know, sometimes we, you know, have a tendency to just, you know, continue to follow down that negative pathway and fall into the same mistakes in the
Doing
regimen.
the same
You
stupid
know,
shit.
as long as you learn from your mistakes and you know
Yeah, well, I'm
you
grateful that
translate it
like yeah.
right. No, go on, Kev. You got it.
I'm sorry. I'm grateful that like, you know, it was my time to absorb the message. You know,
Yeah.
it was my time to, you know, I heard it I don't think it was coincidence that I started working for that friend at that time who recommended that book, who then I found from reading that book started to change my perception. And then I went on YouTube and typed in motivation. And I don't think there's a coincidence to any of these things. And you know what? Like, I'm still so fresh in this journey. I'm not even 5 years in. Like,
Right,
we're
right,
just,
right.
we just
And that's the
start.
bigger
No
picture,
idea
right?
what's in- Yeah, I have no idea what's
Yeah.
in store for
Yeah.
me, you know?
Well, there's a lot in store, my friend. All right, and we could keep on going all night. All right, I appreciate you.
Nah, this is great, man. I had a great time.
Everybody, please check him out. All right, I'll pull it up one more time for you before we get out of here. All right, K Mac Runs 82 on Instagram, Facebook. All right, I have it up there for you on the screen. Check him out. Check it out. His community on skool.com. Mind over miles. Okay, $1 a month. Not asking for a lot. If you yourself, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to start your own journey, this and that, you want to join a like-minded community that is about uplifting yourself and just changing yourself in a positive way, check them out. All right, I'll be joining the community myself. I'll be supporting my guy over here as I always do. Kev, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it. I hope this is not the last time. All right. We got, this is the holiday season. I will be sending out a little special gift for you, and I'm very excited for when you receive it. So please give me a call, okay? I'll probably send it out, not gonna lie, like Saturday morning or something like that. I'll shoot you a text. But I'm very excited, all right, for this because
once I get once I start making mind over miles gears, I gotta send you some shirts and some stuff over there too. I started working on a decal.
awesome.
I got on some website. I'm gonna start making some shirts and stuff like that. So
awesome. Well, again,
hey, Kat,
bro.
what's the name of the community?
Mind over miles.
Mind over miles. Mind over
Right
miles.
now.
Yeah.
Here I go right now.
All right. Kev, as we're about to go to the break, don't go anywhere. But any closing comments for the people watching live and or in post?
Matt says it best, man. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. Life is tough, and just keep your head up. You will get through it. No storm lasts forever.
Indeed.
And you never know what life has in store for you. I mean, 5 years ago even, I would have never in a million years, man. I had no job. I just had my 4th back surgery. I was in a failed marriage. Didn't want to live, or 5.5 years ago, whenever it was. And look, I'm not saying my life's perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better. And you know what? Good things are happening. I'm putting out the right energy. The right energy's coming back. I've met amazing people along this journey. And I'm in the best physical and mental shape of my life. So I really don't have anything to complain about.
Amen.
Amen, man. It's a beautiful thing.
I appreciate you guys, man, for having me on. This has been awesome.
Appreciate you.
And out there, anybody, health issues, anything along those lines, not just school. I mean, reach out to me. I'm here. Anybody that knows me will say, I'm a genuine person. I will do my best to, I might not always have it. It's not even necessarily advice. I'm here to, I'll listen to you, So, you have questions, anything that maybe I might have been through that maybe I can help with, or something that I've done, please feel free to reach out. And, I hope to, hear and see you, and hopefully people listen. I hope, you keep showing up and keep reaching your goals and keep setting goals and keep growing and help the people around you too, share what you learn. And, there's enough, like I said earlier, there's enough cake for everybody to eat.
Indeed, man. Well said, bro. Listen, I love you, man. Really, truly. I do. Like I said, I mean it when I say it, man. I will be on my deathbed smiling and thinking about, the times
That's only
we
the
had,
first race, brother. We got plenty more
I
to
know
run.
it's not. We haven't even scratched the surface, which is a beautiful thing.
talking about
And
the
one
bucket,
day, we're gonna get this guy to toe the line as well. Okay, over here because Mr.
An
W.
ultra
Dubois,
for me?
all right, over here, all right. He still be puffing on the cigarettes a little bit. Meanwhile, he's running sub 6 miles like it's no problem for breakfast. All right, so.
Sometimes.
We gotta get this guy out here and toe the
Yeah,
line on a real race one day.
I'm smoking stogie after I run the 6-minute mile.
I know he is sick,
21 minutes
you
from
know that-
5K to smoke a bogey.
bro. He is
I'm
insane.
working on it, bro. I'm working on the
If
cigarettes,
you
bro.
check
I'm
out his
working on it.
stats, if you check out his
Tommy,
stats,
You're gonna run your first ultra, Maddie. We're gonna 100
my
miler.
God.
We're gonna do soon. So there's a 100 miler in your.
I
your
told him, man. I
100.
told him. I know he's like he gasped at like 26 miles. So like, but we'll get him there. Don't worry, he'll be all right. We'll get him
Oh
there.
my God.
Yo,
All
you
right,
got a 100
everyone.
mile in your future too, pal.
There you go. Oh, listen.
You gotta get me to 26. I haven't done that. Was 3 years ago.
Kev,
But Maddie was
Kev-
raving about me. I think that 3 years ago.
Kev, we're gonna talk about it. 2026 is coming up, and that 100
Yeah, we're gonna go.
miler,
We're gonna push up.
that 100 miler is on the docket. So we're gonna talk about it. All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. Kev, don't go anywhere. You as well. We're just gonna take a quick little break here on Epis Radio. It's been a long night, a great interview with my boy Kevin Mccloskey. Thank you for coming on. All right,
Thanks, Kev.
Me and Dub will be back, and we will be talking a little sports, so don't go anywhere if you're watching with us live here on Twitch and YouTube. We're going to take a little break, the whole 9. You know it. Keep on showing up. It's your boy, Matty B, Epis Sports Radio. Thank you, Kev. Follow him on Instagram, KMacRuns82, and Facebook. All right, everybody. We will be right back
Hey, Matt.
on Epis
Thanks,
Sports
man.
Radio. Thank you for watching today's video. If you like this video or you're interested in future content, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And as always, keep showing up.